Hi, Liz. Hi, Carl. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
Hello. I know you can't come on video because you're grandma, so it's absolutely fine. Bless you.
Okay.
I lived with an aunt for about 2 years who had dementia, so I know what it's all about, Emma. It's it's challenging, is all I'm saying. It's rather
She
challenging, isn't it?
she doesn't want to wear clothes. It's like she's happy in her vest. So what can I do?
Yes, we dealt with that with our aunt as well when she lived with us for 2 years. Yeah, they don't. And to be honest, bless them, why do we need clothes? We did
Yeah.
have fur at one stage, we had our own clothes and then we decided let's make clothes, which was silly. And then we lost all our fur. So maybe a part of dementia is actually being really sensible. It's saying, well, really, we should all be naked anyway. So, but yeah, in the world that we live in, not appropriate, is it? So I completely get it. Absolutely. Welcome, Carl. This is your first time, I believe.
It is, yes. Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward
thank
to
you
it.
for joining us. Hello, Liz. You don't have to come on camera if you don't want to, but just acknowledging you. Hello. Robin is still connecting to audio. I hope you're not experiencing any problems. Hello, Liz. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the room going for a few more minutes, see if anyone else is going to join us. What I'd like you to all do in the meantime is you can go into the chat and let me know what you want to gain from this session today. You're giving me 45 minutes of your valuable time. I'm sure you're all extremely busy and there could be a ton of other things you could be doing, but instead you're here with me. So I want to make sure, well, first of all, I hopefully will be able to give you what you're looking for in this session. But if it's something a little bit left field or a little bit different, then it gives me ideas for future forum meetings. So we can actually do a dedicated forum meeting. So go into the chat right now. Everyone knows where the chat is. You know how to access the chat. If you just go there and just put in what do you want to gain from today's session. If there's a specific thing you want to learn or a specific problem that you want a solution for, put it into the chat. Hopefully I'll cover it. And we also have a Q&A session, so we can cover any questions then. And like I said, if it's a really big topic that I'm not covering, we can even do it at a future forum meeting. Okay, we've got a few more people joining us. Hi, Robin. Hi, Matt.
Oh. Ah.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello,
I
Robin.
am
Hello.
here. I am just AI.
Yes, you're duplicating yourself.
I am AI. Hello.
Robert, is that you pretending to be AI?
Oh, it may be. Yeah.
It is
Hello.
not Robert.
Hi, Robin.
It is not Robert
Oh,
pretending.
is it Matt? You're trying to.
Hello.
This is the Robert.
Hello,
Robert.
Yes, nice to see you next time. Once again,
Lovely to
it's
see
Miss
you
Robert
again,
Corey
Robert.
from
Welcome.
Uganda.
Welcome. Okay, so if I can ask you to go into the chat and let me know what you would like to gain from today's session. So that way I have a clear idea of what people want. So Liz said, any tips for using AI? Welcome. I use Vegetable. Oh, I need to pick your brains on that, Liz. Let's talk about that in the Q&A section. I used Vegetable to write up a job listing for a summer marketing intern, and it did a great job, much better than I'd done on my own. Oh, you've had a very good experience there, haven't you, Liz? That's fantastic. Okay, we'll talk about that. There'll be others in here who don't know what Vegetable is, so we'll discuss that. Anybody else? Oh, we've got somebody else who's in the waiting room. Can I write my book using AI? If so, which AI and why? That's what we're going to be covering today, Matt. So you'll definitely go away a happy bunny after this. We'll definitely make sure you're aware of exactly what you can do with AI and what you can't, or sometimes maybe can but shouldn't, if that makes sense. Okay. Robin says, just observing as a keen educator in AI. You're an educator in AI, Robin. You could be teaching me things. Okay, your job today is all the prompts I use. If you can tell me if there's a way of tweaking them and making them better, let me know. my authors would be very, very thankful to you if you can tweak the prompts and make them even better. So please feel free in the Q&A session to say that prompt would be even better, Mitali, if you added these words or you swap these words around. Please do let me know.
I do have a custom GPT that will help with that, but I've also got ideas for about 2 or 3 more, which will take it.
Awesome. Oh my God. I love days like this when I'm not the one just teaching, I'm actually learning as well. This is awesome. Because I've never done any, just to let you know, Robin, I've never done any official courses or any kind of education on AI. It's just ChatGPT came out and everyone was like, oh my God. And then I just learned on the job, just started adding prompts to it and figuring out how to use it to help my clients. And that's it. I've never done any kind of course or anything on it. So anything that you can do to make it even better, please do.
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, they are paid webinars, but I do conduct webinars to give anyone a foundation in AI. So I cover the whole breadth and depth, and so how to actually approach it. But I do.
I love it. I've probably got a few questions for you.
If you've got the paid version of OpenAI GPT, I'll give you that for free. That's actually something which comes out of my webinar. But that you just put a prompt in there, and it will score your prompt and give you improvement ideas as how to improve it.
Thank you so much, and permission to actually share this with people in here when I send the email out tomorrow. Is that okay, Robin?
Yeah, you can share it with people in here. I don't want to do it.
Oh no, I won't share it out to my, people who haven't, just literally people who've turned up today. What I do is I send an email out in the morning, tomorrow morning, just with the replay, because people want to go back on certain things. And I've got a workbook as well. But I'll share this link to just these people here who've turned up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Perfect. Malte, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so Emma Charlotte says, just curious about how I can improve my writing. I have the facts, but not the flair. Oh, bless you. I would say flair is really an editor, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. But okay, Matt says, the most I've done with AI so far is write a LinkedIn post with AI. That'd be interesting as well. And Robert wants to know, why do I need to write a book? Okay, well, this is something I won't be covering today, Robert, because that is far more fundamental as to why you need to write a book. But I will be doing a future forum meeting on that. I've already got one planned, so I will make sure I invite you to that. Okay, Robert? Okay, so let's just get started, because I don't want to. Okay, Carl says, I started the hashtag, the book I haven't written yet on LinkedIn. My post generated a lot of DMs from budding authors and established authors, like offering help if I start a delivery with the agility community group for this. I've not planned to do so yet, but always interested to discover more about publishing a book. Awesome. And then Matt says, I attended the AI sessions at Cloud Expo Europe and heard Lucy Tech with Lucy speak at Amazon AI. Thank you for all of this. Okay, so let's get started. So let me just share my screen first of all. Okay, so can you all see this?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, and can I ask you all to go on mute as well while I'm just going through this? Just means I don't get distracted by any sounds or anything like that. Okay, thank you so much. So let me just start this. Okay, so first of all, thank you all for coming to the Thought Leader Author Forum. We've got a few familiar faces and some new faces, so it's always a nice mix. So anyone who's been to the forum before will know it happens in 2 parts. Part 1 is we talk about the topic of the day, and today's topic is all about the ethics of ChatGPT and what prompts you can use for brainstorming, book planning, and writing that will save you time, energy, and frustration. And then part 2, my favorite bit of the forum, is that we take questions and we have a discussion on the topic of the day. This is why I like the forum. I've been to, webinars and workshops, and they can be fun, but it's just one person doing all the talking and you're just listening. I get sick of my own voice most of the time. So I'm only, Robin's laughing at me. I do, because I do a lot. I speak for a living. So it's like, so I'm only going to speak for about 15, 20 minutes. And then we want to open this up, and I want you to join in and tell me your thoughts, okay? And what I'll also do is all the prompts that I'll be using today, it's all in a workbook that you're going to get tomorrow morning. My assistant sends this out to everyone who attends the morning after. So if you feel like scribbling down the prompts I'm using, feel free to do so. However, you don't need to. Everything will be sent to you in a workbook. And you'll also get a link tomorrow morning to make a donation. That's my thanks for attending the forum. So all you have to do is click on the link. You choose one of these 4 incredible causes. I know it's hard. They're all incredible causes, but just pick one cause and we as the vegan publisher will donate on your behalf to that cause, just to thank you for coming to the forum today. Okay, so I ran a poll earlier this week and I just thought I'd ask my audience, would you use ChatGPT to help you write a book? This was really interesting. Robin's nodding his head. 61% said yes. Robin, I just thought I'd ask you, I wonder if this poll would have been completely different 18 months ago when ChatGPT first came out. I think a lot of people were quite scared of ChatGPT, and I was really surprised with this. I thought, wow, we've come a long way in the last 18 months. There seems to be now an acceptance of using generative AI, and I think that's incredibly interesting. 61% said yes. 13% said no, but only because they just don't know how to. And 26% said no, it's unethical. Okay, so that's still sizable. 1 in 4 people still think it's unethical, but I think it's getting lower and lower. More and more people are now thinking, actually, this is something that's good. It's just all about using it in the right way. Just some of the comments that I got. So Lisa says, I'd say yes for research and ideas, but not for the actual writing. When people buy a book written by you, they expect it to be your words and thoughts. Very true. That is why we read, especially the kind of books that I help my clients with, which are books for personal branding and thought leadership. It has to be you. People are interested in your thoughts. They want to hear your stories, your lived experience. You can't get AI to do that. So therefore, you can't use it to just outright write your book. Yeah. Steve Mills, very strong. No, not just because it's cheating, but also because ChatGPT writing stands out a mile away. It would be like serving something up from a tin to dinner guests and claiming it's homemade. You're not fooling anyone. Very strong message there, but it's so true. It's getting better. I know with ChatGPT 4, it can actually learn your tone and the way you're saying things, but it still does not absolutely sound like you. So that's something to be aware of. Jan says yes, as in yes, I am happy to use ChatGPT, but the book has to be based on my knowledge and not on the AI knowledge. If I don't have something meaningful to say, why write a book? Again, very true. There's nothing wrong with writing. If you think about a lot of what you know is stuff that you've learned from other places anyway. It's not stuff that you specifically learned, but you've learned from a teacher, or you've learned from watching a documentary, or you've learned, etc., etc. So there's nothing wrong with basing your book on what other people have done, but you've got to add your own viewpoint to it. You've got to add your own slant to it. Otherwise, as Jan says, why write a book? So it's all about using it in the right way. So unethical use of ChatGPT, this is what I think. Unethical use of ChatGPT is when there is plagiarism and cheating. In other words, passing off work as your own. When you do that, there's 3 terrible things that happen. First of all, it's terrible for your reputation if you found out. And if you're writing a book for the way my authors write their book, which is a book for personal branding and thought leadership, not only is your reputation as an author brought into question if you're found out, it's your reputation as a business owner or a brand owner as well. So the ramifications are huge. So you need to keep that in mind. Second reason, it doesn't work for books designed for personal branding and thought leadership. As I said before, people are interested in you, your lived experience, what you have to say on the topic. By all means, put other people's ideas in your book, but then they want to hear your ideas and your comment on other people's ideas. You can't get AI to do that. The third reason, now this one I would say most people outside of my world probably don't care about this sort of thing, but I know the kind of people I attract. I work with B Corp founders, social entrepreneurs, purpose-driven individuals, people who genuinely think beyond themselves and their nearest and dearest. They think of things like community. They think of things like their nation, the world as a whole, the world as it will be when they're gone. They think in terms like that. And the third one is important for people like them. When you just use generative AI like Chat GPT, just write things for you, you are not putting anything back into the system. You're allowing the well to run dry. This is something that kind of popped into my head on one of my sleepless nights. It was about 3:30 in the morning and I couldn't get to sleep. And I just sat there thinking, I mean, Robin will be able to tell me if I'm right here or not, but I was just thinking, well, Chat GPT, it's a bit like that film Limitless. This is a film from about 15 or 20 years ago, had a very young Bradley Cooper in it, and he discovers this drug that actually allows it opens up all his neural pathways, and he is now able to access everything in his brain at any point in time. Every single memory he has, he's now able to unlock it and access it in his brain. Obviously, with it being a Hollywood film, it doesn't end there. It goes very wrong for him, because that's the whole point of a film. It's actually quite a funny film. Go and watch it. I won't spoil the ending for you. But what that drug does is it allows him to access every single memory, every single teaching he's ever had in his life, and he's able to access it straight away. That's what ChatGPT is doing, but not just for one human brain, every single thing that's been ever put onto the internet. But it isn't thinking for itself. It's diving into the well of what humans have already created. When you use ChatGPT and other generative AI to literally just write stuff and you're not putting your own thing back in, what you're actually leading to is the well running dry. And I had this thought about 3:30 in the morning a few weeks ago. I thought, if we just use AI all the time, then what, at some point in a few decades, what is ChatGPT going to be able to mine? It can't mine anything anymore. So that's something to think about. It may not affect you in your lifetime, but no chances are, if you're someone like me, you think about future generations and how to make things easier for them as well. Robin, I actually picked out what you said.
Yeah.
And I love this. This is what Robin says. I'm so happy he's actually be able to come today. This is what Robin says: AI is for augmentation, not replacement. For years, I've been saying that AI should be called augmented intelligence and not artificial intelligence. We should use it to augment our capabilities, to extend or broaden our capabilities, to give us better insights and perspectives. I'm with you, Robin. We should need to start something, some kind of movement that actually says we've got to stop calling it artificial intelligence. It's augmented intelligence. It helps us. It's a tool for us. It's not there to replace us. So when you keep that in mind, these are some of the prompts that my authors have been using to help them with their books. In fact, let me see what I'll do. When I come out of this, I should be able to put these prompts into ChatGPT so you can see how I'm using it. Let me just close these down. Okay, so let's put this prompt into here. So what we're doing here, go back to here, is to give you generating ideas for a book. Okay, so what a lot of my clients sometimes have is they have far too many ideas, and they're kind of thinking, which one is going to be the best one? Well, this is a really good idea to see what are the trending ideas for this book, and see if your idea fits that, or it might even give you a brand new idea for your book. So here's that. So I'll put generate 10 ideas for a nonfiction book about the topic of animal agriculture and environmental impact. So let's see what it comes up with. And as you can see, it's going to come up with 10 different topics, well, 10 different books essentially. Now, does that mean you just follow one of them and go with it? Absolutely not. What you might do is you might blend a few of these to create your book. Because remember, if you're writing a book for personal branding and thought leadership, it's got to be about what you know and what you do. So if you've got nothing to do with eating green, a guide to sustainable food choices in a meat-heavy world, then you're not going to talk about something that you don't know about. But this is a great way for finding and think, oh, actually, this is quite popular. I didn't think of adding this into my book, but I do have experience of this. So let me add this into my book. This has been really helpful for my authors just to jot down ideas and thought, oh, yeah, I actually do have expertise on this. And they go, because you'll be amazed how much stuff you know that you forget that you know. Going back to that film with Bradley Cooper and Limitless, that's why he takes that drug to unlock everything that is in his brain that we forget, that's in our brain somewhere. So this is a great way for you to go, oh yeah, I know a bit about this. Oh, I've got a story about this. Oh, I've got a client case study about this. And it gives you ideas to put into your book. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is a good one, identifying sources, especially if you're writing a book for thought leadership, for personal branding. You want to make sure a lot of your ideas will be built on other people's ideas. The right thing to do is to give credit to those ideas. See, if you pull something from a report or a website, you need to credit it. Apart from the fact it's wrong for you to just use other people's ideas of your own and can get you into trouble, it's just the right thing to do anyway. It's the ethical thing to do. Chat GPT, I found, is brilliant for finding reliable sources. So for example, let's put in, generate a list of reliable sources for researching the causes of climate change. So let's go and put that in. And off it goes. Now, by the way, you will, of course, need to go and stick these into Google. Make sure you do that. Don't just use things as is. You wouldn't anyway, because chances are if you're citing a report, then what in the report are you citing? Does that make sense? So you wouldn't just use this as is anyway. But whatever, I have seen some people do this, and again, probably AI generated books where they've just, I think they were just trying to be like, oh, look at me, I've done loads of research. And they've just, they're on a back page somewhere, they put reports that I suggest you go and look at. And they just listed the reports. No reason. Why are you asking me to look at these reports? Nothing. So you wouldn't do it that way anyway. But this is a great way for you to go, okay, these are actually pretty good, reliable sources that I can go look at. And I can go and actually just put that into Google, read what they've got and see if there's anything you can use to put into your book. And then, of course, you cite that you've got this from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Yeah? But it's a great place to find credible sources for you to then put into your book and say, this is where I found this information from, and they're credible. So that's another way that my clients are using Chat GPT. Oh. Expanding on text. My authors tend not to really use this, but I did have one author who just wasn't very good. She was a very no-nonsense woman, which I liked about her. Didn't have much to say. But sometimes I was like, oh, we need a little bit more from you. You know, can you expand on this a little bit more? And she struggled with that. So we played around with ChatGPT to see if we can find a way to help her. So we did something like this, generate ideas. And basically what we got her to do, so let's just put this in, you can see what happens. Sometimes it's just better for you to actually see what happens. So what this does is it's talking about what you want to write about in your book. But it's now giving you further ideas, expanding on each of this. So for example, this is a good one. She didn't think about this. Her book was all about physical exercise. But then she thought, actually, there is mental health benefits in physical exercise. Do you think I should put that in my book? And I said, well, have you experienced mental health benefits? And she said, oh yeah, I've experienced it. I don't really have to take any medication. It's the first time, by the way, she told me that she was on antidepressants and she's no longer on antidepressants because of exercise. And I just thought, oh my God, woman, why have you kept that from me? That absolutely has to be in your book because that's your lived experience. But can you see how doing this, it made her think, oh yeah, maybe I should add that into my book. I didn't think about adding that into my book. This lady basically wrote a book because she was told she would not live beyond the age of 40 because she had all these congenital issues. She got into exercise, completely cleaned up her diet. She's now in her 50s, healthier now than when she was as a child. So basically, all those doctors were talking nonsense when they said that she was going to die by the age of 40, and there was nothing that she could do about it. However, by doing this activity, she also added in elements of mental health as well, because she said, yeah, I used to be on antidepressants. I'm no longer on antidepressants as well. So this is a wonderful way for you to put in ideas, just put in like small amounts of ideas here, and it will then expand and then make you go, okay. And then this is what I mean about not copying things wholesale. Instead, you read through and say, what resonates with me? What do I have lived experience of? And those you can include in your book. Okay. Next one, generating an outline for a book. Do I expect you to get AI to just completely generate it and use that outline? Absolutely not. Remember, if you're writing a book for thought leadership, for personal branding, the outline ultimately has to reflect your lived experience, your process, your stories. However, we've all been there when you sat there looking at a blank page and thinking, how do I start this? What this does is stops that, I call it blinking cursor syndrome, which is awful. You know, you get that cursor just blinking at you and you just don't know how to start. This will stop that. It will give you ideas, and then you can you can furnish it with your own ideas. You can move things around. So let's do this. So the prompt I've used here is, please write an outline for a non-fiction book about social mobility in the UK. The book should be around 200 pages. That's just giving them an idea of roughly how many topics to add. The book should be around 200 pages and should include chapters on the government's role, the history of social mobility, and how the UK rates against other first world countries. Okay, so you just have a rough idea of what your book is going to be about. And then let's put that into Chat GPT. And there you go. Isn't that fantastic? It's actually creating chapters and even the subtopics of each chapter. Now, absolutely, as I said before, do I expect you to literally go, okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do? Of course not. Of course not. Remember, if you're writing a book for personal branding and thought leadership, you've got to sit there and think, well, which of these, first of all, am I an expert on? There could be certain things in here that you don't actually know a lot of. Well, guess what? You shouldn't be writing a book. And this is a big issue I have with AI generated books, is people are putting books out there they have no expertise on. That could be dangerous. You could be putting dangerous information out into the world. So absolutely, you don't just go, okay, I've just outlined my book. That's what I'm going to go with. Absolutely not. You now need to go through and figure out which bits of it you have expertise on. There could be things that you, extra things that you can put into here now and go, okay, this will fit into something else I've done here. And you amend this and change this until it becomes your outline. This should, I hope I'm making that clear. Never, ever just use these as is. It's there just to stop blinking cursor syndrome. So, you know, when you can't start something, this gets you started. It gives you something to jump off from. It's not the whole article. Yeah. Final prompt. I love this one. Generating options for titles and subtitles. This is so cool. Again, I don't think you should just go with, well, you can do if it's really good, but I would actually then check it to make sure it's not being, you're not infringing any copyright. Okay. But this is great. You can actually put in what your book is about, and it will generate a book title and subtitle, or several book titles and subtitles for you. So let's put this one in. So this one is all about, please generate 5 different title and subtitle options for a book about social mobility. So basically the book that we've just been discussing before. Okay. How cool is that? It's actually giving you book titles and subtitles. Now, again, do I think you should just use that? Absolutely not. Always remember what the very clever Robin Davies said. Augmented intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence. It's got this. It's got the ascent, unraveling social mobility in the UK. It's got that from somewhere. If you just use it as is without checking, it could be there's already another book or report or something out there that uses this or almost this. You just use this as it is, you could get yourself into huge trouble. So, but it's just a way to brainstorm. You might think, oh, I like the ascent. Let me just go and check and make sure somebody else hasn't used that. Or you could put in an extra word between the and ascent, the social ascent, the mobility ascent. It's a way for you to just start off rather than the finished thing. Because I find, I don't know about you, but I think I speak for most people, just starting with a blank page is daunting. Whereas when you have something like this, it's a way just to get some words out there, and then you can play around with words. What I tend to do is look through all this and I end up coming up with a title that is like a mixture of a lot of this. And then I check on Google to see, make sure that there's no copyright issues. Okay. This is a bonus I want to show to give you guys, something that I've only discovered out in the last 2 months, sorry. Chat PDF. Robin, are you of Chat PDF? I think you probably are, aren't you?
There's quite a lot of these around, but a lot of them are now integrated into the main large language models anyway. They got
Oh, are they part? Is this now part of ChatGPT, the 4 version?
Yeah, you can add PDFs, Word documents, whatever else, and just
excellent. Thank you for that, Robin. Okay, so for those of you, so it looks like if you're a paid member of ChatGPT, you can do this within ChatGPT. If you're using the free version of ChatGPT, there's Chat PDF where you can go to. This is really, really cool. And what you're able to do is you're able to put in whole books, PDF books in there. You can put in studies, you can put reports. Another really cool thing I've found a use for is you can actually put in, what I do is if I'm researching a specific book on Amazon, I want to see what people have said in the reviews. But then you get a book that's got 10 pages of reviews. That's really overwhelming reading all those reviews. So what I do is just I copy and paste all the reviews into a Word document, change into a PDF, chuck it into Chat PDF, and then it gives me a synopsis of what people have been saying, the general, what's been good about it, what's been bad about it. You get a nice, concise report as opposed to reading 300 different reviews. So it's a brilliant way of brainstorming and a brilliant way of researching. You can put entire books in there and get it to give you a synopsis of what the book is about. You can put in studies, reports, anything like that. So I found it invaluable. But Robin, you're now making it, because what I did was I got this about, it'll be actually coming up to a year ago now. And yeah, it was like about 112 £112 I paid for the annual. But now it seems like ChatGPT 4, the paid version, has this. So it makes more sense when it comes up for renewal, I'll just get the paid version of ChatGPT 4. I think, is that a good idea, Robin, now, rather than going with these guys?
Yeah, it's only $20 a month, about £19 at the moment.
So that's roughly, so it's only a little bit more than this, but I get the higher capabilities of ChatGPT. So it makes more sense now. But yeah, for those of you who are like, I'm not really sure whether I want to pay for ChatGPT yet, you've got this. You're allowed to have 2 PDFs per day. You can do for free on this, on Chat PDF. And then you have to pay. But you can pay monthly or you can pay annually like I've done. But I thought I'll show you that because the free version of ChatGPT, I'm right in saying this, Robin, you can't put PDFs in that way, that sort of thing into it. It has to be on the paid version.
I can't remember because I upgraded to the paid version GPT.
I don't
quite a while ago.
Yeah, see, I've got the free version here, and let me just have a look at it. Yeah, I can't see anywhere where you can upload anything. You literally copy.
No, yeah, you'd get a paperclip on your prompt entry.
Yeah, and there isn't.
Yeah.
It's literally just have to put things in.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so let me stop sharing now. What are your thoughts, guys? Now, so I'd like to open this up to the room now. What are your thoughts? Have you used similar prompts like this in the past? Is some of this like, yeah, I know how to do this? I mean, I always talk about books, but to be honest, a lot of the prompts that I use, they can be used for helping you write blog posts, LinkedIn articles, social media posts. So, there's lots of things you can use it for. I always talk in books because, I'm a book publisher. That's why I talk about books. But you can use it for lots of different things. So have any of you used some of these prompts before?
I haven't used the prompts, but what I've done is I've written something and I've used the rewrite with AI.
Okay.
That LinkedIn provides. I don't know what it uses behind the scenes, and that's been interesting because it depends on whether it's actually got anything to help rewrite it. Some cases I've written it, it hasn't done anything. Other cases, because there is something, it does do something. And I find if you put a hashtag in, for some reason, I think it picks up on the hashtag and then it will expand on it because it looks, I think, I don't know if you know this, Robin, or not. It looks through everything that's related to that hashtag and then formulates a rewrite based on that. Well, that's what it seems to me. Is that the case, Robin?
I've not used the rewrite in LinkedIn because at the very best, it'll be one level of abstraction. It may be using OpenAI in the background, so it's better to go straight to the source.
Yeah.
So I've never actually used it, but yes, it like anything, like a good prompt, it needs context. So if you
yeah,
just say write me a book, it'll go, well, it'll write you a book, but it won't be on anything that you want. So the more context you can give it, and hence why I got my prompt analyzer as well. If you give it more context, to give it examples, and this is what you're thinking, this is who the audience is, etc., then it helps it zero in. I mean, it's got all of human knowledge in
yeah.
its memory banks, and you need to sort of point it to say, I want that bit and that bit and that bit, and it will piece it together.
Yeah, but the danger is obviously garbage in, garbage out. Depending on who's put the knowledge in, it may not actually be knowledge, if you know what I mean. Like the classic example was the someone putting in Harry Potter into platform 13 3/4 into some sort of map guidance, AI map guidance. And of course, people get sent to the platform, but jumping through the wall doesn't work in the real world.
which is why it's augmented intelligence. Of course, you can, just like a human being, you can misdirect a human being. And even though you shouldn't anthropomorphize these things, it is like having your own researcher or your own apprentice or whatever else.
Yeah.
So yes, you can send them off on a wild goose chase. That doesn't benefit anyone.
But essentially, autocorrect was obviously didn't really have semantics. Is essentially a very simple, and even autocorrect now can pretty much put the basic grammar in context and that you haven't done on even not just on your phone or on your WhatsApp. So it's actually providing a certain amount of rewrite based on that. I find, they're not always good. So isn't autocorrect almost like the earliest forms of AI in a way?
It is. I mean, coming back to what Mitala was saying. Sorry, Mitala, I'm taking
No, go on.
what Mitala was saying earlier on, that it was only when GPT 3.5 came out that people actually woke up. I mean, we've had AI. Actually, AI has been around since the 1960s.
Yeah.
It was only in 2017 when Google, DeepMind created the transformer. And then we actually have the computing power to actually do stuff with it and ingest all this stuff. That, yes, basically, Chat GPT is just a super powered autocorrect. It works on exactly the same principles. It basically maps each word in every language, anything that it's come across, and it maps it, how close is it next to the next word. So this is a. It knows that this is quite often followed by is and followed by at. And that's basically what it is vectors. And that's exactly what autocorrect and autocomplete does. But it was only when GPT came out that it, totally lifted the bar, and you're saying, oh God, this actually is, can actually do stuff.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Matt. The LinkedIn AI writer, I haven't used it, and the reason why I keep seeing it, it's always at the bottom corner, isn't it? Whenever you're creating a post or an article, it's in the bottom corner saying, and the reason why I haven't used it is I just thought, but what parameters is it using? So in ChatGPT, what I would do is I would say things like rewrite this in active voice, for example, because especially some of my authors, they fall into passive voice. So it's like rewrite this in active voice, or you can even do fun things with ChatGPT, such as rewrite as some famous, you can say rewrite as Stephen Fry. That's really funny because it gets all especially wordy, and you start using all these words that you've never heard of in it, and you can put in a prompt, but the LinkedIn AI writers you just press it and they just rewrites it.
But I think it looks for something. It looks for hooks, I think. And if it can find that, then it adds things into it. I've actually had it where it hasn't changed anything. And I've gone, oh, but then it was only when I put in a hashtag or a reference to something one time, suddenly I got a whole lot of information, which I didn't expect. But it tends to depersonalize it. So if you've got something that's personal, it will go, this is what we think, or us, this is us. It actually takes out, hey, this is what my experience was. So it actually depersonalizes. So it's not good for anything that is meant to be from what you've discovered or anything like it. It's writing it as if it's everybody, because I suppose it is. It's a consolidator of knowledge from a lot of people. So that's what I sort of see as its drawback. Anything which is personal to you, don't use it.
Which, I mean, I know LinkedIn is a professional platform, but people still want to feel you.
Yeah, they're not going to they're not going to relate to it.
Professional platform, but people still want to feel your personality and what you'd be like to work with or have as a partner or whatever it is. Even though it's a business platform, I still think personality wins. So I haven't used it for that reason, because I just thought, I don't know, there was no way that I could see, well, where would I put parameters in the way that you can do with ChatGPT. Yes, Nee, welcome.
Hi. Oh, hi. Thanks for letting me join. And please excuse my voice. I actually tested positive for COVID last night.
Oh, no.
So it makes me have a chance for being off today and tomorrow. So I said, let me join in and listen.
Well,
I wanted to, yes, thank you for having me and inviting me on. And then this is usually during my business work hours anyways over here. But I'm glad Matt mentioned something about the depersonalization, because I only just started getting like a handle on how to copy and paste what I write in my post in my blog, little pieces at a time, just to see how it could be worded better. And I realized that because my post is, I use I a lot. And so whenever I put it into just like a paragraph or so, it really kind of turn around and change it into not me anymore. So that's one thing that I did discover about the use of Chat GPT. And I at first I never really got into. I've heard about it for such a long time from colleagues and even my sister, my younger sister, is using it. And I just thought, okay, maybe I should at least test it out and try it, because I always felt like it's cheating if I were to use it, because I never had this in college. I never had this when I was writing essays for my personal statement at Enter School and things like that. So I thought, okay, well, we do it the right way, do it the original way. When I have multiple drafts of things, and just, that's part of me. But I'm so glad you walk us through and showing how, it could be actually really, really useful. And
as long as you remember, I'm going to keep saying this, Robin, because I'm going to make it a thing, believe it or not. You're going to think, oh my God. But yeah, the thing to remember, Nee, it's augmented intelligence. Keep saying that to yourself. All it's doing is augmenting your capabilities. It's not replacing capabilities. As long as you use AI going now, not just with ChatGPT, I'm sure there'll be other things that will be launching over the next few years. If you just keep that in mind, I think that's when you'll be able to toe the line between what is ethical and what is unethical use of AI. If you still have you at the heart of it. I mean, like I said before, I talk about books because I talk about books, but this could be about anything that you do with AI. As long as you're still in it and it's you, I think you're going to be okay. It's when people, I mean, I heard something horrific a few weeks ago. The palace, Buckingham Palace, had called in their lawyers because 7 books had turned up on Amazon that's about King Charles and his cancer. He's got a tumor at the moment, so his cancer. I know, Matt. That's what. They didn't interview him. They didn't reach out to him. Literally, they went into generative AI. I don't know whether it's ChatGPT, but probably, let's be honest, that's the one that everyone knows about. They went in and they created a whole book on what Charles feels like to have cancer. I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it? I know. It's ridiculous. I know. So they've now called in the lawyers, but the lawyers, because this is so new, the lawyers are like, how do we deal with this? So they're trying to figure it out within the parameters of English law. How do they prosecute this? And it's an absolute legal minefield at the moment, because this is all so new, and law takes a long time to change. Law is always playing catch up to technology, so, but that's what's happening. These people have got nothing to do with Charles. They've never met him. They were just cashing in on the fact that, well, King Charles has got cancer, so let's make a book about that. Can you see how unethical that is? As long as you put you into it, then then there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with using AI, because it is just a tool. Like Matt said before, how it helps, many years ago, and we still have it. Autocorrect helps us with our texting. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Matt, my autocorrect is really funny though. I start some of the things I end up texting people, it's like, that was autocorrect, that definitely wasn't me. So I don't always get it right, but that's all it is. ChatGPT is just a much higher version of autocorrect. but it's still as you. It's still you texting somebody. It's not somebody else. It's not AI's texting somebody for you. So as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be fine using AI. Augmented intelligence. Let's keep saying it, folks, until everyone starts saying it. Augmented intelligence.
Thank you. Augmented intelligence. I like it.
It's good, isn't it? As soon as I saw Robin post that, I was like, I like that. I'm running with that. I'm going to just keep telling people about it.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to drop off. I keep on doing this. Hard stop at 2:45.
It's okay, Matt. Thank you for being able to join us for what you can. That's been great. Thank you so much. Any other questions or thoughts? Liz or Emma or Carl?
Yeah, I was going to say I don't use I do most of my writing on LinkedIn. As some of you may know, I write a newsletter and I do a lot of blogging and commenting. I've seen that AI button. It says, use the AI. Now, the problem that I've got is, although I write a lot, I'm dyslexic. And what that means is I can spot the mistakes very, very quickly in anything anyone else has written. Very quickly, they kind of jump off the page at me, but I can't see my own mistakes. Yeah, I read what I think I know is there, and I don't see the actual words on the page, which is crazy because I used to be a software developer and, writing code and syntax, it's got to be right. But so I haven't tried that. But what worries me is that people that are dyslexic may rely on those AI tools, whether it's the ones on LinkedIn or anywhere else, to write the stuff for them, and they don't check it.
Yeah.
And if they don't check it, so I'm thinking I'm in a rush to get this post out the door, and now I've got AI to rewrite it. I've got to read it again. And because it's kind of based on my words, I might not see those mistakes quickly enough and just press post. So that's why I haven't done it. When I've got some time, I will experiment with it because some other people have asked me about it. But I think for people with dyslexia, it could be a blessing, but it could also be a curse. They must check it. As Robin says, you've got to check it. It's augmented. It's not intelligent on its own.
No, augmented intelligence. That's what it is. It's augmented. It's building it, or as I call it, the limitless drug. That's kind of what it is. If it was a drug, if Chat GPT was a drug, it'd be the limitless drug. It just gives you access to everything. But it gives you access to everything. You still got to be the one sorting it all out. You're still in the middle of it. As soon as you remove yourself out of the middle, that's when everything goes awry. And like I said, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble as well, because you could be accused of plagiarism and copying others. So yeah, absolutely, that's a very good point. Regarding what you said about not being able to see mistakes, I've got this running joke with all of my authors. So we have a number of fail safes during the book creation process for this reason. So for most of my clients will write their books on Word document, and the editor will go through it several times. We'll pour through it. As far as we're concerned, it's perfect. There is no mistakes in it whatsoever. We'll then send it over to the typesetter. They will design the book, and then it comes out as a PDF. We get the PDF back and it's like, oh my word, look at the mistakes on this. It's like your eyes are suddenly refreshed because it's moved from a Word document and your eyes became just lazy and you couldn't see that. It's that old saying, you can't see the wood for the trees. That's what happened. And then as soon as it moves into another format, PDF, suddenly it flushes out all the mistakes. So we'll go through it entirely again, flush out all those mistakes. And then guess what we do? Once we finish doing that and the design part is done, we then get review copies sent out. And guess what happens again? How the hell have we missed this? Oh my God, it's glaring. It's so huge. Huge mistakes that I've missed, the editors missed, the authors missed. That's why we have these fail safes to make, because once you get too close to your work, and I, as a book consultant, end up getting close to that work as well, as does the editor, you stop becoming blind to it. So please don't worry. It's something that we all have to contend with. It's
what you can actually do, because I use GPT, I use Gemini, I use Claude, and I use Bing Copilot as well. I actually use the same prompts in each one, and see what comes back. And by and large, there is a consensus, but you can actually get one to be a critique of the other. So you can get the output of one and put it into another with a different prompt. Say, right, critique the hell out of this. Look for punctuation mistakes. Look for this. Look for
Gemini, putting it in, getting what the output is, and then putting into Chat GPT, are you?
Oh yeah, I mean you can do it in the same platform. You can do it all in GPTs. Yeah, you can get it to run a prompt, and then you can say, right, now I want you to critique it. I want you to find any mistakes, any inconsistencies, or anything else.
There you go, Carl. That's what you can do. You can get it to rewrite on LinkedIn and then chuck the rewritten version into Chat GPT and say critique it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could. I've not used it on LinkedIn yet. I will try it, but I know when I did something the other day, I was about to post my newsletter, and I'd gone to the next step because you have to then write a post to go with the newsletter as well when you do it, and I wanted to go back and change something, and I couldn't. It wouldn't let me go back, and I was thinking, well, if I cancel it, I might lose the whole thing. I opened it up in another browser window and managed to recover it all that way. So it's not very, and I thought, and that's what's put me off using the AI. I thought, well, what if it changes it? Then I've got to go through it. Will I see it all? Or do you get to see what it does, or does it just do it? I'll do it on something not very important, and I'll share the results with you. So
please do.
Yeah,
please do.
yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you for that, Carl. I appreciate that. Any other questions or thoughts? We're kind of running over a little bit, but I can stick around till 1 p.m. So any other thoughts? Emma, I don't know if you want to join in, Liz, Malte, or you're all just so happy with what you've learned, you're thinking I'm going to go off and use it.
I'm just listening and taking it all in, really. I've never used Chat GPT or any of them. I've avoided it so far, which is why this was quite interesting to me because of ethics. So I thought, oh, well, I'll see. And now I'm curious. I've got a few things that I've been having difficulty with. So I thought, oh, I'm probably going to have a little play with this tonight. See what happens.
Means do. Like, think of it, you know, as I said, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, Robin, but think of it as augmented intelligence. It's just augmenting you.
Yeah.
As soon as you start feeling like I'm using this to replace me, then you probably are erring into unethical use of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's the best way to think of it. Is it's still you. If you look at the prompts that I used, none of it was write an entire book or write an entire chapter or anything like that.
No.
And even when it was giving a finished article, for example, the last prompt that a lot of my authors use is give me ideas for a book title and subtitle on this subject.
Yeah.
Even then, I've always said, don't just use these titles and subtitles because it's come from somewhere else.
If
it's too similar to something else that's already out there, that means you can get done for plagiarism. But it's brainstorming. It's just like, oh, I quite like that. I like the play of words here, or I like that specific word and that specific word. Maybe I can put these two together. It's a way to brainstorm.
Good.
You.
Thank you.
You can use it on any use case. I mean, I've used it for sort of semi-legal letters. I mean, obviously you can't use it as a solicitor or anything, but you can get advice from it. But I've used it, you know, if you want to raise complaint with someone like a utility company, you say, okay, this is what's happened. I want to fire off a complaint letter. I don't want to be too overly aggressive, but I want to be assertive and everything else. Can you look at the Unfair Terms and Conditions Act? Here is their terms and conditions themselves. You know, can you actually write something? And it does it really well.
I'm glad you said that, Robin. I just done that last week. You'll be proud of me. So last week, I basically one of my I've got these adapters, and what it allows me to do is allows me to plug, instead of using the Wi-Fi, plug into the Ethernet, whichever part of the house I'm in. And one of them failed. So I got like this follow-on insurance when I bought it. I had 3 years accidental damage, that kind of thing. But the stupid thing I did was I bought it for a device under £50, but the device was actually £65. I just had some Amazon vouchers on my account. So when I got the invoice, I was like, oh, the product is under £50. I'll get the insurance for under £50. But the product was actually £65. They came back saying, well, we can't insure that because you got the wrong insurance. And I said, well, I'm not asking. It is wrong. As in, I should have got the higher valued insurance. But all I'm asking you to do is pay up to the value of that insurance. And they wouldn't do that. I got ChatGPT to write a letter and then sent them off by email. They've just paid me the £50. They said, we can't give you the 65 because you got the wrong insurance, but we'll pay you up to the value of that insurance, which it was my right. I got the wrong insurance, just pay me up to the value of the insurance, but they were going to null and void it because I got the wrong insurance. So it definitely works, Emma. So keep it in mind for that. It's really, really good for that. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Unless, has anybody else got anything else to add? I haven't heard from you today, Malte, but I assume you're just really busy or in a noisy area, so you can't join. But thank you for listening in. Is there anything else before I close? Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. Robin, I'll probably be in your inbox asking you loads of questions because I know you put loads of tweaks to my prompts. Thank you so much. Not just for me, my author's going to love this. Because like I said, these prompts are just things that I've picked up with my authors. We've been playing around. But like I said, I don't have your experience and your understanding of AI. So thank you very, very much for that. It's been so helpful. Oh,
yeah, Mitali, I do have one thing to say. It's not like a question or anything like that. Just a comment from last week when we walked through the beta reader thing. So I sent you an email as well, kind of like I kind of really put it immediately to work and used your form, and I'm now like in a beta reader phase with, I think we have 13 beta readers, kind of like reviewing that, and like literally followed your strategy, like use the form, kind of alternate it a little bit. Well, we'll see. So like I kind of like did a poll on social media, recruited a couple of them since I wasn't quite sure. Like I did selected a few that I thought would be really great fit, and they were super excited to read it. And now like it's 2 weeks, and then I have a weekend schedule, Friday and Saturdays. We're gonna review the form together. I'm really excited to see that. So everyone seemed to be super stoked, and yeah, well, kind of like use the form, kind of like really in the. Yeah, so like I send you an email, but I know your inbox is probably like overflowing.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, but now that you told me, I will go and find that email and I'll read it. But thank you so much for that, Malte. Malte was at last week's forum where I was talking about how to recruit beta readers for your book, so you make sure you only publish a book that people want to read and not just something you think they want to read. So well done, Malte. I'll go and check out that email and I'll see how you get on. But thank you for sharing. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you at another forum. It's always on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. So hopefully I'll see you then. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Steve. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Robin.
Bye.
Bye.